Hi guys, my name's Tamara. Welcome to a new year of study, an exciting one hopefully. I'm just here to tell you a couple of things, so two things hopefully to let you know of the support services here that we have on campus that are available to you as Macquarie Uni students. And hopefully I can build your confidence in terms of being able to approach some of these services, because I know sometimes it can be hard to reach out and ask for help, and hopefully I can achieve that today with you. So very, very briefly running through those services. That's basically the overview of who we are, and there's a bit of an umbrella of different services that we have. They're all free, they're all confidential, so don't feel that we would be sharing information or anything. You can come very confidently and talk about concerns that you have depending on the service. So the first one that we have is the counselling service, and that generally is a service that we provide to students who are struggling with either a diagnosis of a condition or who are just stressed and anxious or experiencing low mood at uni. So we see a really, really wide range of students. We always encourage students to come earlier rather than later, particularly if they're having trouble with their studies. So some of these conditions can have a big impact on how we move towards our goals and our studies. So the counselling service is really helpful just to sort of unpack all of that. The way it works is you get 3 sessions initially to work on your goals, and some students will find that 3 sessions is enough and that's all they need. If you would like further counselling sessions, what we do is similar to the community, where we get you to obtain a mental health plan from your GP, and they go through potential services that we would assist you with, treatments that we would assist you with. So that's the counselling service. We're made up of general psychologists and registered psychologists, very similar to the community. The second service that we have is the disability service. So this service provides students with disabilities who have, and basically their disability impacts their studies, and so what we would do is provide reasonable adjustments to students and help them along to their degree. So with a disability service, you'd actually need to go to a GP and get a letter to be involved in the service. But that's pretty generally straightforward, and the information is all on our website. The welfare service is another branch that we offer. This is more for, I suppose, non-university related things, so it could be anything from accommodation to finances to legal difficulties. So we don't provide legal advice, but we can navigate where you need to go depending on your legal concerns. So that's anything around the university that's obviously going to have an impact on your studies. I think they can also help with Centrelink advice if any of you are on Centrelink. Student advocacy is one that we see a lot of students attend, and basically it's a service that helps you kind of unpack all the policies and the procedures from the university. So sometimes it's very hard to understand, what do I do in this situation, or what happens if I'm not progressing in my degree and I'm worried about failing, those sorts of things. Hopefully that won't be an issue. But in order to get that sort of advice, and particularly around the policies and the procedures, you would go to HDR obviously, but this is also an independent service that we have that can help you around that too. They also provide, I guess, advice just around, academic non-progression and grade appeals and things like that, more for undergraduate students, but for you guys as well. The other supports, I suppose, we have the triage one down the bottom. So that's more if you're not sure what you need. So you might not need counselling, you might not be sure if you need counselling. The triage is sort of like an on-the-day service, so you don't need to book an appointment, whereas the other ones you do. Just pop in, say that you're not sure, that you want to speak to somebody, and we'll basically sit down with you for 20 minutes and try and figure out what your needs are, and where we can kind of direct you. So that's a really, really good one to have. A lot of students don't come in for counselling as well, they just come in for information. So if you're looking for information, triage is probably a good place to start. We do have a lot of services under us, religious service, so we do have a chaplaincy service that you're able to access for that emotional and supportive needs. So they do have, I suppose, all faiths and religions. I can't go through the list at the moment, but it should all be up on the website. So that's one there. The Uni Wellbeing course, so that's an online program which we're pretty excited about offering to students. It's an alternative to coming in face-to-face. It is an online program. You do get in touch with a psychologist week to week, but it basically enables you to develop skills that will help you to deal with stress, anxiety, low mood, managing all of those things through a skills-based program online. It doesn't take too much to do. It's a 4-week program, but the results that we're finding, I think we've had over 600 students, and the results that we're finding are very, very good. So if that's something that you're interested in, I've got some pamphlets here if you'd like, that I can leave with you. So the other thing I wanted to just briefly touch on is just about personal safety. So we're a very safe campus. We have a lot of security here. So I want you guys to feel really safe and secure at the university. There's lots of places for support. One of the things that I've brought along is just some of these cards. So I don't think I've brought enough, but they basically have really useful numbers on them. And one of them is the 1-800 CARE-MQ, the 1-800 number there. So it's basically just a dedicated phone line to Macquarie Uni students, and it is basically 24 hours. You can call them anytime, and it can be something a really simple kind of request. It can be something really, something that you really, really need immediately. So this is a good number to have at all hours. Even if you're wanting to get in contact with us and we're closed, this is a good number to have. And there's some useful contacts there if you need to access those. So in case of an emergency on campus, I always direct to security for obvious reasons. The security, and I'm sure a lot of you are Macquarie Uni students and know where the security office is. It's building C3C, so just opposite the new library, but they're open obviously all day, every day. And they respond to really any type of emergency. The two things I wanted to let you know, which I think are really helpful, are the emergency help points. So they're those little blue, I suppose, boxes stuck on either the side of buildings or they're freestanding. I think there's one just out there. And so basically, if you're stuck or if there is an emergency, that would be the first thing you would press. I know it takes a little bit of time to get to security, so if there is an emergency, sometimes finding one of those is really helpful. They connect you through straight away. The other thing that a lot of students might not know about is walking escorts. So if you feel unsafe going to the car park at night, I know a lot of you will probably be staying here late. There are walking escorts, and it's literally no trouble. It's just a phone number, and they'll arrange an escort immediately. So if that's something that you need, definitely feel free to call campus security for that. So this is what our website looks like. I don't know if it's up and running at the moment. It should be on later today, but basically it goes through all of the services there that I've spoken about. So you just click into the individual ones. It'll have information about, so for example, a counselling service, and it'll give you a place to register. So for counselling and disability, you would need to register. Otherwise, you can just ring up and make an appointment. The other thing I just wanted to mention is down the bottom that I didn't speak about was a medical service on campus. So If you are sick and unwell physically, a lot of students, we actually refer to the medical centre, so that is on campus as well. It's in the new hospital. So if you just click into there, you'll be able to access a GP or a doctor. The other thing I didn't probably mention that was following on from the previous presenter talking about careers and things like that. That was a really really interesting thing, I'm sure, for you guys. So we have the career service as well, and we see a lot of students just around looking at, you know, what can they find out in terms of their degree and what they can do basically with their degree, and where do they want to go in terms of jobs. So job searching and all those sorts of things can be really helpful. So we do have a career service, and you can access it through the Campus Wellbeing and Support Services as well. It's just not up there. So the last thing I just wanted to mention, I'm pretty sure that's the last thing, yeah. So was that online program for students. So it's, as I was mentioning before, it's over 4 lessons, and it really looks at developing skills to be able to enable you to handle stress, anxiety and low mood. And we are finding really good results. What happens is you would go through the lesson on your own, you'd implement the skills day to day, see if things are working. If you have any obstacles towards implementing some of those skills, we have psychologists that will call you once a week, really just for 10 minutes to check in with you to see how things are going. And it is proving to be really useful just in terms of not only symptom reduction, but in terms of improving grades as well, because we know that when those things get better, it reflects on how we do at studies and those sorts of things. So that's a really helpful thing for you to have, just information-wise. And if you are interested, I've actually got some pamphlets here, probably not too many, but I will leave them here. If you're interested, all you need to do is contact us. It's a very simple process. And yeah, I'll just leave these cards, and yeah, does anybody have any questions at all? No? You guys feel pretty confident coming to the support services if you need it? Cool. The one thing that I always say is it's better to come earlier rather than later, just because it's much, much easier to deal with issues earlier, yeah, rather than waiting for them. So hopefully I'll see you around. Thank you.